Thanks, Matt. What a day for the Munster Championship to roll back into Limerick. Let's take a check on the way the sides are lining out. Limerick manager John Allen has made 3 changes to the team that lost to Tip 12 months ago, with wing-back Paddy O'Brien, wing-forward Seamus Hickey, and number 14 Declan Hannon, the only new arrivals. 13 of this selection also started the league final defeat to Dublin, as team captain Donal O'Grady returns from injury at midfield, and Shawnee Tobin is recalled in the attack. It's a team that's been picked to do a particular type of job. This is Eamon O'Shea's first championship selection as Tip manager, and he's picked 11 of the team that lost to Kilkenny in the league final. Pa Burke, who will wear 18, is a late inclusion in the first 15, replacing Jason Ford, who's ill. Goalkeeper Brendan Cummins is recalled to start his 19th championship campaign. Paddy Stapleton also returns, and the experienced John O'Brien slots in at number 12. The Munster champions are captained by midfielder Shane McGrath. And on the respective benches for Tip, Lara Corbett, who will wear number 10, is alongside the likes of Owen Kelly and Brian O'Mara, all ready and waiting. Limerick, they've kept young forwards like Kevin Downs and Shane Dowling. It's the Munster Championship semi-final. It's Limerick against Tipperary, and it's live here next on 3.
OK, we are back here in Limerick. We are looking forward to Limerick against Tipperary. And let's give you a chance to another quick last word on this, Nicky.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a serious game. You see Limerick in the parade there, they're really wired up for this. If Tip will, I think, just about win, they'll do well to win though. And
Dahi, we saw John Allen, how relaxed he is when he was chatting to us there.
Oh, incredibly relaxed manager. I'm sure he'll be expecting once the ball is thrown his players to be a little bit more up for it than he appears to be, but sign of a good manager, he can be as relaxed as that.
OK, it is time for Oran Navian. But first, let's hear from Mike Finnerty.
Thank you, Matt. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, it's one of the biggest and most colourful derby matches of the summer. Referee today, Brian Gavin from the Clara Club in County Offaly, took charge of the 2011 All-Ireland final between Tip and Kilkenny. His linesmen today, James McGrath from Westmeath and James Owens from Offaly. Well, Jamesy O'Connor, we have a spectacular day, a great occasion. All we need now is a match to live up to it.
Yeah, and I expect we'll get one, Mike. Just looking to see if we've any positional switches, but everybody seems to have started where they've been selected, but we're off and underway.
Yes, the first of the Munster Championship semi-finals off and running. Tipperary won the toss. They've elected to play from left to right in the first half, playing into the town goal, and straight away they're on the attack. That ball knocked into Noel McGrath's corner, but won back there by Stephen Walsh and fed outside as quickly as he could to Paul Brown. Limerick will try and force the pace and set the tone. That's what we've been told here in the city this morning. They intend to put it up to Tipperary. Man on the ball is their captain, Donal O'Grady. Skips by the challenge of Kieran Bergen, galloping through. And that's the first score from the Limerick captain, Donal O'Grady, in full flight. And he took it with great style.
Yeah, superb score and a superb ball by Shawnee Tobin to pick him out. He still had work to do to finish it, but that's exactly the start that Limerick needed.
Donal O'Grady, a man who's played more than 30 championship matches for Limerick, settling into the groove nice and early. Tip goes short with the puck out. This is their captain, Shane McGrath. Lovely use of the wrist there to flick it down the line towards Noel McGrath, waiting patiently for the run around the corner of Shane Burke. takes on Stephen Walsh, driving towards the crossbar. He's got a man inside, he tries to find it, and it's cleared away out towards Paddy O'Brien, and he completes the clean-up job. It has been a typically frantic, helter-skelter start. Loose pass, gobbled up by Paul Brown, well blocked by Brendan Maher. It's been a huge feature of Tipperary's play over the last 5 or 6 months. This emphasis on work rate, pressure, hooking, blocking. And there again, it's Brendan Maher who gets his body in the way and driven down the field by Conor O'Mahony. It is 22 degrees in the shade here at the Gaelic Grounds on an absolutely broiling afternoon. And that's a foul on Seamus Callanan and a free in for Tipperary. And finally a chance for everybody to catch their breath.
Yeah, hopefully the rest of the game lives up to the start. It's certainly been fast and frenetic. Shane Burkus was, took his man on here, went right on goal, had no more ground outside him and possibly should have popped it out, but the Limerick defence quite happy to clear their lines. I think it's Pat Burke standing over this one, is it?
Seamus Callanan on the freeze for Tipperary today. Plays his club hurling with Drummond Inch. That's a nice straightforward one to start, and Callanan, who hit 127 during the National League, makes no mistake and ties the match up after almost 3 minutes.
Yeah, and he did well to win his own ball for that free, Mike, and referee now going down to consult his linesman. Shane Burke and Tom Connor were getting to know each other before the ball was thrown in, so he may just decide to have a word with both of those.
Well, of course, this is one of the great rivalries, one of the great derby matches of the championship. Stories still told about their ground-shaking collisions back in '73 and, of course, 2007. And it took 3 games to separate them. Great matches, great memories, and today a chance for Tip and Limerick to make some new ones. Good pressure by Graham Mulcahy, manages to flick it through to James Ryan. He's on the 40 today, finds space and pops it over the bar. Good pressure by Limerick to get the hook in to dispossess Conor O'Mahony, and Ryan applies the finish.
Yeah, great work by Graham Mulcahy, working hard, setting up James Ryan for that score.
So Limerick are back in front and they go long and direct. They're looking for Shawnee Tobin. Runs all the way through to Brendan Cummins, starting a championship game today for Tipperary for the 72nd time. Good strong hand by John O'Brien, but well blocked. He was preparing to pull the trigger as soon as he got possession. Closed down quickly, but there was a foul on Shane Burke in the aftermath. And Tip will get a free in, but nobody giving an inch in the first 5 minutes.
No, and it's been a feature, I suppose, since the start, Mike, that Limerick's work rate, particularly the hooking and blocking, and Conor O'Mahony very, very slow to clear his lines, and Mulcahy was in, hooked him for that last score, but the trip on Shane Burke, and Callanan again will expect to slot this one. He's an accurate free taker, and Tip have a luxury of his riches in that department. Rowan Kelly on the bench, Pat Burke can hit the frees, Noel McGrath, but Callanan the first choice free taker this afternoon.
Well, there isn't so much as a puff of a breeze here at the Gaelic Grounds. A perfect afternoon for hurling, a perfect afternoon for free takers. The Tip supporters fall silent. Callanan hasn't caught that cleanly, didn't make good contact, and that was quite frankly well wide.
Yeah, it's a bad miss, Mike. One he would have expected to get. It's an easy side for a right-sided free taker, and certainly one that you'd normally expect him to score.
Mickey Quaid from the Effin club gave that everything he had, looking for David Breen, but gathered over there by Pádraig Maher. His first instinct is to go short to John O'Brien, and this is Noel McGrath roving out around the middle of the field, leaving space inside for the likes of this man, Seamus Callanan. Richie McCarthy is there, Gavin O'Mahony doubling up, backing him up, and getting it away to James Ryan, who also has dropped deep. Limerick trying to leave space inside for Tobin and Mulcahy. This is heading in Tobin's direction, breaks off his hurl. First man to react is Mickey Cahill, the corner back from Thurles Sarsfields, the county champions. Tries to make a bit of room for himself and manages to spoon it down along that right hand side towards Bonner Maher. He was leaning on Wayne McNamara, and Limerick get the free. And of all the individual matchups and tussles, Jamesy, that one between Wayne McNamara and Bonner Maher is worth watching.
It is, and I think Wayne McNamara is very, very good coming forward. Mike, I'm not so sure about him going backwards, and it's just been noticeable that Bonner's been looking to get in behind him, you know, long balls into the Tipperary attack. He's very, very good at reading the break, and that'll be a threat to something Wayne McNamara will have to be very cognizant of.
Declan Hannon has come right back into his own half of the field to have a look at this. Certainly is inside his range. He has given it everything. No problem with distance, but it just faded away out to the right and wide. That's Limerick's first, but it had yards and yards to spare.
Plenty of distance, yeah. He's a beautiful striker of the ball. You know, key man for Limerick this afternoon.
Brendan Cummins weighing up his options. The six-time All-Ireland Puck Father champion looking for John O'Brien away over on that far side. Would last touch the hurl of a Limerick player, and it will be possession to the reigning Munster champions, going of course this summer for 3 in a row for the first time since 1989. Tipperary tried to play the possession game, but it was too tight and too intricate, and Brendan Maher had his pocket picked by Paul Brown. This is Shawnee Tobin using his pace to get out in front of Stapleton, lays it off to Declan Hannon on the run, and he fires it over the bar. Lovely hurling by Limerick. Tobin to Hannon, and a sublime score.
Yeah, and Tobin is, you know, Limerick again. Clare tried a lot of short sideline cuts last weekend, but they gave possession away, and Limerick didn't pay the price for it.
So all of Limerick's first 3 points have come from play, and they've opened up some daylight after 8 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a good start for Limerick, Mike. I mean, exactly what John Allen would have wanted. You know, Tip have just been a bit casual in possession at times. Limerick are working very hard, and Shawnee Tobin, you know, set up again that last score. He started very well. Mulcahy has looked sharp, Hannon has looked sharp, and those are positive signs from a Limerick perspective.
Declan Hannon standing just inside his own 65-metre line. Once more, he has no problem with the distance, but just taking him a little longer than he would like to get his radar locked on. That's 2 wides from those long-range frees. Just 20 years of age, the Limerick number 14, who right now is posted smack bang in the middle of the field as Brendan Cummins drives that puck out deep into the Limerick half, breaks in behind Gavin O'Mahony. It's picked up by Patrick Bonner-Marr. Spotted the run of Seamus Callanan, but he was hit and taken down just as he released the ball. Brian Gavin had blown his whistle, no advantage, and a free in.
Yeah, not so sure about it. I mean, again, we spoke just seconds ago about Bonner drifting in behind. Wayne McNamara comes over, and he probably had released the ball. So, you know, 50-50 call, and Callanan, having missed the last free, Mike, would be certainly expecting to pop this one between the posts.
So Seamus Callanan with a very straightforward opportunity, you would think, to narrow the margin. On second viewing, it did look shoulder to shoulder, perhaps a tad late, but it's back to a 1-point game, and after a pretty frantic first 4 or 5 minutes, things have started to settle down a little, particularly when you consider this match being played against a backdrop of 22 degrees Celsius heat. Shane McGrath going spectacularly and acrobatically in to try and win that ball, follows in behind Conor O'Mahony, and he's content to let it run. And possession back to Tip, but quite a subdued atmosphere here, Jamesy. After 10 minutes, everybody, I think, starting to weigh up how the first 10 minutes have gone.
Yeah, and maybe the heat is a bit of an issue as well, that maybe players are trying to conserve energy. Just looking positionally, Declan Hannon obviously selected a full forward, but he's drifted out the field, and Paul Cullen has gone with him, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But I think John Allen is certainly the happier of the two managers. I mean, Limerick are, you know, they seem more up for it. You know, they've certainly made the more positive start. They're hunting attacks. You know, Tip was dependent on two Seamus Callanan place balls with their scores, and that's not something we'd expect to, you know, just 2 points on the board, you know, into the 11 minutes of the game.
Well, a free in now and a chance for Declan Hannon to top up his individual tally and just nudge Limerick a little further ahead. This time makes no mistake, double scores. And it does seem an incredible statistic, but Limerick have won just one of the last 17 Munster Senior Championship matches they've played. That came here against Tipperary in the 2007 Munster semi-final. They've lost their last 5 Munster Championship games but they seem intent here on giving Tipperary every bit as good as they're getting. James Ryan does well, wearing 11 but playing very deep. He's got David Breen inside and available. Shrugs aside the challenge of Pádraig Maher, gets his shot in, and that was gone just wide when it was gathered by Brendan Cummins. That will go down as a third wide for Limerick. It remains a 2-point game.
Yeah, and a bad wide, Mike, because you know, he was under pressure from the sideline, had players across that he could have maybe looked to find, and Cummins has made a mistake here. Pádraig Maher trying to pick him out with a short run, and he's hit it out over his head, and it's gone out for a line ball to Limerick.
And the Limerick crowd in the sunshine on that far side, they were happy with that. They knew the minute the ball left Brendan Cummins' hurl, it had been miscued, and this gives Limerick a chance to keep the pressure on.
I suppose when you're into your 19th season, you're not going to get too bothered about mistakes like that, Mike, and I'm sure as that he gave Pádraig Maher the nod that he was to blame for.
Hannon doesn't catch it cleanly. Easy for Conor O'Mahony. Rides the challenge of Seamus Hickey and gets it down into the Limerick half, trying to link up with John O'Brien. Pulled on first time by Pádraig O'Brien. Maher had held his ground back there in the right place at the right time, and now Paul Curran. Nobody at home in the tip half forward line. That's easy for Stephen Walsh. Outside to Pádraig O'Brien again. Quick look up, spots the space in front of Shánny Tobin, but so too did the cornerback Paddy Stapleton. Good anticipation by the man who's been recalled to the tip team today. This is Shane McGrath. Quick look up, good pass, controlled beautifully by Par Burke, who's hit hard by Donal O'Grady. Ball runs free and picked up by Shane Burke, who did well in a very tight space. Noel McGrath spots the run in behind of Bonner Maher into the centre. Chance for tip here. The shot, and a great save by Quaid from Callanan. He hit it low and hard. It was heading for the corner, but Nicky Quaid got down smartly, the All-Star nominee last year, to push the shot from Callanan away, and it's gone out for a 65.
Yeah, brilliant save by Nicky Quaid. You know, we mentioned about Bonner drifting in behind, and you know, Wayne McNamara completely lost him. A great pass across to Callanan, and he should have finished it. Tip normally convert those chances, but as credit to the goalkeeper, great stop.
Pa Burke has been handed the responsibility of hitting the 65. A late inclusion in the tip team in place of Jason Ford, and that's gone wide. Tip second. Well, the team that lost the Division 1A League final 5 weeks ago, just a little out of kilter with some of the basics in this first quarter of an hour. They've missed a few frees. That 65 off target as well, just taking them a while to get into the groove again. Possession grabbed somehow by Seamus Callanan. In fact, it was Pa Burke, and as he released that ball, Brian Gavin adjudged him to have hung on too long.
Yeah,
once more, Limerick got so many players in around the man on the ball, putting him under so much pressure. He had no option in the end but to cough it up.
Yeah, a quick count, Mike. 5 Limerick players to 3 from Tipperary, and it's I suppose symptomatic of the game today. Limerick just hunting impacts, closing Tipperary down and making them work very, very hard for the possession that they have.
Another big free from Hannon, dropping in dangerously. Paul Curran needed to be strong in the air there, and he was. First time ball out to the wing to Brendan Maher, who, as always, makes himself available. First time ball back into the middle. John O'Brien jumping along with Stephen Walsh, breaks in behind them to Gavin O'Mahony. Very good reader of the game. 2 Limerick men going for the one ball. James Ryan got there first, and now Pádraig O'Brien. Plenty of space on that far side for Graham Mulcahy to work with. He's out in front of Mickey Cahill, turns onto his left-hand side, but a good block by Brendan Maher. It's been a feature of this first half so far. Players getting in close and hooking and blocking it, putting the man on the ball under all sorts of pressure. Seamus Hickey, quick look up. Got his wires crossed there with Shánny Tobin and Graham Mulcahy, and easy for Brendan Cummins.
Yeah, and he should have given that ball out to Donal O'Grady, and was annoyed at him because he'd made a run, he was in space and would have been a chance.
Both sides trying to play that fast diagonal ball. both full back lines earning their corn. Brendan Maher, quick flick back to Porrick Maher, under pressure from David Breen, and Paul Brown just got a hurl to that as well. Nothing coming easy out around the middle. Brian Gavin blows his whistle. A foul on Limerick's Seamus Hickey and a free.
Yeah, and a lot of mistakes, Mike. Players been caught in possession, and maybe it's attributable to the fact that it's the opening championship game for both sides, and there is that bit of rusticism as they last played competitive hurling. But you know, if you're Eamon O'Shea, okay, apart from the goal chance, they haven't really created anything. And John Allen certainly, I'd say, the happier of the two managers. You know, at this stage of the contest, 17 minutes into it.
And another opportunity for Declan Hannon, perhaps, to edge Limerick further ahead. The crowd behind that goal like it. The umpires like it. And Limerick now lead by 3 points. Hannon, who hit 9 points on his championship debut against Wexford 2 years ago, has hit 3 in the match so far. And it's so far so good for Limerick.
Yeah, and short forward again from Brendan Cummins. Long ball down the field.
And breaks kindly perhaps for Seamus Callanan, but again the Limerick defenders converge quickly. Pa Burke bends his back and gets that ball under control. Shoveled out to John O'Brien onto his right hand side, and John O'Brien with the snapshot hits the target. That's Tip's first score for 8 minutes. Just eats into the margin, and that was much better.
Yeah, good refereeing from Brian Gavin as well. I mean, was going to blow the free, allowed play to develop, knew John O'Brien had a chance, and he duly converted.
Well, the first quarter of this Munster Championship semi-final has come and gone, and Limerick have been true to their word. They said they would come here to try and set the pace, ask some questions of Tipperary, put down a marker. And of course John Allen has the likes of Shane Dowling, Conor Alice, Kevin Downs and Niall Moran all waiting in reserve. Sideline cut in towards Breen, flicked towards the line, cleared away, chance for Tobin! And Shawnee Tobin with the first time shot hits the Tipperary net, and now we've got a game in our hands. Brendan Cummins beaten.
Yeah.
19 minutes in.
Yeah, I think David Breen got a flick on it, and Cummins did well to keep it out, but it broke to Shawnee Tobin and in, I think, with the aid of the post. But that's exactly what Limerick needed, because that will get the crowd behind them now. You know, and is tipping a bit of a hole here now, Mike.
Shawnee Tobin with his third goal in the championship for Limerick has blown this Munster semi-final wide open. The first goal of the day as Pa Burke at the other end replies for Tipperary, and maybe, just maybe, this game now will kickstart into life. It had been tipping along at its own pace for the first quarter, but that goal from Shawnee Tobin has sent energy pulsing around the Gaelic Grounds. And here come Limerick again. David Breen from way out the country, putting his head down, letting fly, and that's gone over the bar. Limerick lead by 5 points. They were 7 ahead at one stage in this fixture last year, and once more they're setting the pace.
Yeah, that's 2 fantastic scores in the last minute. Great response from Pa Burke at the other end, an acute angle. He drilled it over, and ball broke to David Breen, and he responded with an inspirational score at the other end. So game on.
So now Tipperary must come out and play. Brendan Maher. Possession won by Pa Burke. Manages to feed it out to a teammate, but the ball inside was short and got too tight, and James Ryan down towards the goal scorer, Shawnee Tobin. He's outnumbered 2-1, but he manages to win possession, trying to link up with Declan Hannon, cut out by Paul Curran, and out into the centre of the field to Noel McGrath, who's had a quiet first 20 minutes. Trying to provide some ammunition now, though, for Pa Burke, who's slipped his man. Burke goes through, he's gone for the goal. Good save by Quaid once more. The second fine save by Nicky Quaid in this first half, denying Pa Burke with a flying save. And he really went for it.
He did, yeah. I mean, again, great stuff by Nicky Quaid. Pa Burke had a lot to do, expecting to beat Nicky Quaid from there. But the Limerick cover was back. There wasn't really a whole lot else on. Possibly should have put it over the bar. But that's 2 good stops from Nicky Quaid and instrumental in keeping Limerick ahead.
So 21 minutes into this first half, Limerick 5 points ahead. Let's go to the sideline and talk to our reporter, Kieran McSweeney.
Well, Mike, you've been mentioning how hot it is, and down here on pitch side it really is sweltering, and we know all about the fact that the number of officials that team managements can have on the sidelines has been reduced, but they're really doing their best to get water onto the players. And even Brian Gavin, the referee, we've seen, and James McGrath, one of the linesmen here as well, they're really getting as much fluid and water on board as they can. It really is sweltering down here, and that could tell later in the game.
Well, you'd have to think that the conditions here are going to take their toll. We're expecting to see both John Allen and Eamon O'Shea running their benches as this match wears on. But after 22 minutes, James O'Connor, Tipperary still very much trying to get out of second gear, and Limerick hurling with great confidence and great style.
Yeah, and I suppose, you know, Tip have maybe had two half chances. Nicky Quaid made a superb save that they should have goal from. But listen, 5 points clear. They take that at the start of the game, and Gavin O'Mahony receiving treatment on the sideline. He just seems to have a massive injury under his eye, but expect to see him resume his position in a minute, and he's back on.
Gavin O'Mahony receiving some running repairs. Limerick restored to the full complement. Man on the ball, Conor O'Mahony, dropping it down towards Conor Marr, but won back by James Ryan. Limerick just that split second quicker to react inside to Mulcahy, but the referee had blown his whistle for a foul by Shawnee Tobin on Paul Curran. I think Graham Mulcahy was intent on playing away inside, but Brian Gavin had blown, and you're not so sure, James.
Yeah, I don't know, was there a whole lot in it? I mean, you know, there was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, but that's what Limerick are looking to do, isolate Mulcahy and Shawnee Tobin with the pace they have inside. And Mulcahy, as I said, once the ball was released, he was looking for the break, made the run in behind, and Shawnee Tobin probably harshly penalised, I think, for a foul.
The Limerick have outscored Tipperary in the last 10 minutes by 1-3 to 2 points. Shawnee Tobin's goal, the defining moment in this match so far. Seamus Callanan goes sprinting out to the wing to win this in front of Richie McCarthy. Puts the head down and tries to take him on. Callanan does just that. Lovely skill. Callanan goes for the goal. And he very nearly got it. Well, what a mazy run by Seamus Callanan, who used his pace initially to win possession, then great skill and balance, and it would have been a goal for the scrapbook had it hit the net.
It would, and I don't think John Allen would be too happy with the full back line if Seamus Callanan had been allowed, you know, take the ball from the corner all the way along that end line into the back of the Limerick net. So again, Limerick maybe dodging a bullet there. Good work from Callanan, just couldn't apply the finish.
Well, Tip certainly have had goal chances, and plenty of them in the first 24 minutes. 2 fine saves from Nicky Quaid, keeping his line intact. And Limerick 5 points to the good.
Yeah, and in that passage of play, Mike, as well, I mean, Wayne Mack came out with a ball and had plenty of time to clear it, but again kept going with it, and that's the type of lung-bursting stuff that you know, you don't really need to engage in, you know, on a day as hot as today, when you've got players on the inside line as good as Mulcahy and Tobin, and the way they've started, particularly that ball should have gone into the inside line a lot earlier.
Mulcahy involved there to knock it back initially towards Seamus Hickey. Now Shawnee Tobin is battling for possession with 2 or 3 tip men. One of them is Nicky Cahill. Referee Brian Gavin says play away, and Tip managed to clear their lines. Noel McGrath, short little pass to John O'Brien, has very little room to work with, but he makes it count. That's a wonderful score from John O'Brien, his second of this first half, both from play. Another piece of lovely close control, and it was right on target.
Yeah, he's been a great servant Tip over the years. Noel McGrath again, good work from Nicky Cahill initially, and topped the pass off to O'Brien, good look and straight between the posts.
Puck out from Nicky Quaid, broken down by Hickey and gathered up by Gavin O'Mahony. First time ball inside towards Hannon, who lets it beat him. Hannon pulls, but it's a fresh air shot, and Brendan Cummins has left his goal. Now what can Limerick work here? Hannon, well blocked down by Paul Curran. The big tip full-back from Mullinahone made himself big and awkward, got the challenge in, and the chance was gone. Pa Burke fouled by Tom Condon as Tip turned defence into attack so quickly. Burke was trying to skip away from the Limerick corner back, but here's that chance for Hannon, and another fine block.
Yeah, great work by Mickey Cahill to get back, but that was another half chance for Limerick, Mike. I mean, again, the ball just bounced that little bit too far away from from Hannon. He had a couple of bites at it, but the cover is getting back in, and good work by Power Burke at the other end to draw the free. Callan standing over it. You know, top class intercounty players don't miss these.
Well, it's his first championship start since the 2011 All-Ireland final. He's now hit 3 points from frees, and it just keeps that scoreboard moving and leaves Seanie Tobin's goal between the sides as we swing in to the last 10 minutes of this first half. Eamon O'Shea weighing up his options, I'm sure, running that playbook of his through his mind.
Yeah, just look at the tip forward line now. Noel McGrath's the centre forward, Bonner's gone to the wing, John O'Brien on the other side, and Power Burke in the corner. So they're jigging things around. Limerick, Hannon operating you know, out around the middle of the field, 2-man inside line. Conor O'Mahony kind of quite content to sit back and supply a bit of extra help and protection for them.
Sideline cut from Tipperary, not well struck. Back in by Declan Hannon. Brendan Cummins leaves his goal, couldn't gather it though. Just bobbled out of his grasp. Mickey Cahill there to clean up though, and his first time ball is down into that corner, way over on the far side for Shane Burke to chase. He switched wings and brought his man with him into the centre towards Power Burke. He's got Tom Condon for company, and the corner back from Knockaderry got a hurl to it. Tip though have won it back again. This is Noel McGrath, tight angle, flashes it over the bar, and Tip make Limerick pay. They coughed up possession. Noel McGrath nips in. That's his first of the day, and it's back to a 2-point game.
Yeah, Tip starting to find the rhythm a little bit. Shane Burke again, good ball back out to Noel McGrath. He makes it look very, very easy. Beautiful striker, good finish.
3 points in a row for Tipperary in as many minutes, and they've cut the margin back to 2 points. Big puck out from Nicky Quaid. Oh, bobbling around, grabbed by Seamus Hickey, who's gone straight through. Hickey driving towards goal, tried to kick it, falls for Tobin, and somehow Brendan Cummins manages to arch his back, scoop it up and clear it away. But there was consternation there in the Tip defence as Seamus Hickey bulldozed his way through and very nearly got in for Limerick's second goal. Meanwhile, at the other end, it's a foot race between Richie McCarthy and Seamus Callanan, won by McCarthy, and the full-back and all-star nominee last year gets it away to Paudie O'Brien, and O'Brien, first-time ball down into Mulcahy's corner. It's end-to-end now in the last 5-10 minutes. Seanie Tobin, the goal scorer, manages to keep it in play, or has he? No, the linesman on that far side has his flag raised. The ball just won the race, and a chance for us to look at that run from Seamus Hickey again.
Yeah, we'll catch our breath, Mike. Probably it was the chance fell to the wrong man. I mean, Seamus Hickey played cornerback in the All-Ireland final in 2007. But good work, you know, took the direct route to goal, and I think he came off easy. He tried to kick it. He played football for Flannans. It was a decent football in his day, but Justice Mills didn't happen the way he wanted, and Brendan Cummins again did well to clear his lines.
Well, by his own admission, Seamus Hickey, he's not a natural forward, but he's in that half-forward line to do a specific job, and that time it all opened up a little too easily for him from a Tip perspective. He just wasn't able to make them pay.
And he had, I think Graham Mulcahy might have been inside as well. He had the opportunity of maybe getting in, but I think we have to give credit as well to the Tip defence. You know, they were getting back in numbers, and as Brendan Cummins, you know, did the simple thing, kept his head, didn't pick the ball off the ground, and managed to clear his lines. Hannon standing over this free now. Limerick
just in need of a score just to keep things ticking over, and Hannon obliges. That's his fourth of this first half. It leaves that 3-point cushion between the sides again. And there you can see Brian Gavin taking on some refreshments on what is a scorching Sunday afternoon here in Limerick. There was a real carnival atmosphere all along the Ennis Road this morning. Crowd somewhere in and around 20,000 expected here, and they're really enjoying this second quarter. Paul Brown sprinting through, just hooked as he tried to get the shot in. That took the sting out of it, and cleared up by Paddy Stapleton, and away by Brendan Maher. Good ball, spots Noel McGrath, who's dropped over to his right-hand side, just takes a touch. Seamus Hickey has broken his hurl, and Brian Gavin, I think, felt that challenge was a little reckless, and Tip will get the free.
Yeah, possibly a harsh one, but I suppose he did break the hurley, and Noel McGrath was, had his own hurley up, I suppose, to saw the tackle coming in and defended himself, so no damage done to Noel McGrath, and Hickey, I think, acknowledged it instantly. Just looking at Mike Bonner-Maher now on the edge of the square, Taburk top of the right, Seamus Callanan out in the wing, and Gavin O'Mahony. So the tip justice was trying to find the combination that would unlock this Limerick defence, and Noel McGrath has the ball in his hand, and he's going to assume responsibility for this one.
Yellow card for Seamus Hickey. That score for Declan Hannon a few moments ago, by the way, Limerick's first for 11 minutes. But Jamesy says it's Noel McGrath standing over this one. No luck either, though. 4 wides for Tip. Their long-range free-taking, in particular, causing something of a problem. Pa Burke, Seamus Callanan, and now Noel McGrath all off target. And it remains 1-7 to 7 points on a very tense, tight and tactical day here in Limerick. Callanan, who's now operating out in the half-forward line, in over the top. Chasing after it is Bonner-Maher and Richie McCarthy. Once more, the Limerick fullback gets there first, out to Paudie O'Brien. No-nonsense hurling from the wing-back from Kilmallock, the county champions, down towards Sean Tobin. Doesn't stick this time for Limerick. Noel McGrath. Brendan Maher keeps it simple. John O'Brien trying to switch the play from the left wing to the right, but caught in behind was Seamus Callanan. Out in front was Gavin O'Mahony. He's trying to release Mulcahy, but well read by Nicky Callan. The pass was asking a lot of the Tip captain, Shane McGrath. He hasn't really been able to impose himself in this first half. Long ball over to the far side. Won at the second time of asking by Pádraig Maher. Short with the stick to John O'Brien. He goes long, looking for Maher. Just seemed to lose him in the sun there. Richie McCarthy is trying to hold him off. McCarthy with a good old-fashioned shoulder, nothing wrong with that, and cleared away by Stephen Walsh.
Yeah, he lost
defence standing firm.
He lost his hurley mic as well, so had to make sure he put everything into that challenge to put Bonner out over the line. He did well.
Solid as a rock so far, the Limerick full-back, Brendan Maher. Once more, lofting it in, looking for Pa Burke. Bonner-Maher is loitering with intent. Covering back there for Limerick is Wayne McNamara, a real warrior at the heart of the Limerick defence. This is Tom Condon. But it's about to be returned with interest. Brendan Maher, he has seen enough. He's gone for his own score, and he's drilled it out to the left and wide. Now, he seems to be pleading with the referee, but that got a touch. But Brian Gavin not interested, and after a passage of play that ebbed and flowed, went from one end to the other, it ends with a wide, and perhaps Brendan Maher wondering if Hawkeye would have come in handy there, Jamesy. He was adamant that there was a problem there.
He was, and often the player is the one best to judge to decide whether it was between the posts or not, but it was a feature of Tipperary's play throughout the league that Brendan Maher scored points in every game from the middle of the field, and particularly league final, I think he got 4, so he'd be disappointed not to have converted that one.
Tip supporters there may be wondering, where is Hawkeye when you need it, as pressure on Wayne McNamara forces him out over the line on that far side. We're ticking towards injury time at the end of this first half. We'll have at least 1 minute. And John Allen just studying his notes there, Jamesy. What will be running through his mind during the half-time break?
Well, I think first of all, what he's going to say to the players, he may have little tactical things, he may want to talk about. They have been opened up maybe a couple of times at the back. Nicky Quaid has pulled off a couple of good saves. I think as well to be conscious of seeing, who's starting to flag a little bit. I mean, conditions are punishing. It is very, very warm out there, and as I said, with the players on the bench, he's probably trying to weigh up, I suppose, when or if he's going to introduce the likes of Shane Dowling, Kevin Downs, Conor Allison, and so on. So, but at the moment, he's got to be very, very happy with the work rate of his team, the way they've, contested everything. And again, 3 clear. I think he'd have taken that before the game.
And plenty to ponder too for his opposite number, Eamon O'Shea. The reigning Munster champions, 3 points behind, as Conor O'Mahony from Newport stands over this free. The 1 minute of additional time has almost come to an end as the ground falls silent. O'Mahony dropping it in. Nicky Quaid has his hand in the air trying to shield his eyes, keeping an eye on it. So too back there did Stephen Walsh, and he did well, the corner back. And quite a fitting end to this first half. Limerick repelling another Tipperary attack, and it's the home side who go to the dressing rooms here with a spring in their step. A goal from that man, Seanie Tobin, was the big score. At half-time here, it's Limerick 1-7, Tipperary 7 points. Thanks very much, Matt. Welcome back. Well, at half-time, the place in the Munster final still very much up for grabs. Remember, the winners here will play either Cork or Clare in the Munster final next month. Tipperary have made one change at half-time. Number 23, John O'Dwyer, is in to the Tip full forward line. Looks like Shane Burke is the man who's made way. Tipperary will play from right to left in this second half. They're chasing down a 3-point deficit in a championship season, of course, where they're chasing 3 in a row of provincial championship honours. And all eyes on Limerick now to see if they can sustain this push and get over the line. Hannon marching through, tries to flick it out towards Tobin, but the pass was overhit. Tobin has a little bit of work to do, tries to run straight at Mickey Cahill. He's been taken down in the process, and that is a free in for Limerick. And Tobin, who's been on song all afternoon, reflect on a job well done.
Yeah, and you'd imagine they'll get something out of it, that Hannon will convert the free, but this is a glorious opportunity, Mike. You know, that pass goes to Hannon, it's in the back of the net, and that's the difference probably between Kilkenny, Tip to a lesser extent maybe, and the rest, that, you know, when they get in on goal like that, invariably the ball ends up in the back of the net, and that's a chance that, you know, Limerick may rue before the afternoon is over.
So a chance for Declan Hannon, which he takes. That's his 5th point of this Munster semi-final. Nudges Limerick 4 ahead. Of course, they were 4 points up in the dying moments of last year's Munster Championship match against Tipperary and let it slip. Time will tell if they can finish what they've started this time round. Wayne McNamara, little flick from Noel McGrath to get it through to Brendan Maher. Pass to John O'Dwyer without even looking, and O'Dwyer with his first touch hammers over his first point. It's back to a 3-point game.
Yeah, and that's a lovely way to make your way onto the inter-county stage, Mike. Just a, you know, a chance to fall to you like that. And I know Eamon O'Shea rates this guy. He's a beautiful striker by all accounts, and that's a good score.
John O'Dwyer making his championship debut at the halfway mark in this semi-final. Sun continuing to split the stones here in Limerick. Kieran Bergen, another debutant, finds John O'Brien over his shoulder. Lovely ball. Added to again by Noel McGrath, who's filling that role of playmaker. This is O'Dwyer. He's been given time and space. Makes no mistake. 2 points from play from John O'Dwyer in the space of a minute, and nobody picking him up.
Yeah, but again, sensible play by the Tipperary attack. I think it was Noel McGrath saw him in space. John O'Brien took the initial ball out. Noel McGrath flicked it on, I think, and O'Dwyer 2 shots, 2 points, and Tip has clawed the deficit back.
Mickey Quaid dropping this in the general direction of David Breen. Breaks all the way through to Paul Curran. Just had a quick glimpse to see where Bonner Maher was. He's got Gavin O'Mahony for company. Maher uses all his size and strength there to hold off his man. Get it back to Shane McGrath. Just one man to aim at inside. That's Seamus Callanan. Pass was overhit, and that will run out as a 6th wide for Tipperary. And another chance gone a begging.
Yeah, and uncharacteristically poor use of the ball by Shane McGrath. Normally he's, you know, a guy who does the right thing, that takes the right option, but you know, he's full forward. I won't be thanking him for that one.
Mickey Quaid again, he's looking for Breen. Just flicked away, but well won back by Graham Mulcahy. Spots his captain, Donal O'Grady, who missed a large chunk of the National League with injury. Tries to return the favour to Mulcahy. Has time to take it under control. But easy for Brendan Cummins, who skies it down into the Limerick half. Breaks right into the path of Richie McCarthy. Read that like a book. Gets it away towards James Ryan, sliding in ahead of Pádraig Maher. He won a county senior championship medal with his club, Gary Spillane, back in 2005. James Ryan has been around the block, loses out this time though. Back to Conor O'Mahony. Good ball. Again, Noel McGrath has the time to take a look. Spots O'Dwyer, who's running riot, and John O'Dwyer with his 3rd touch hits his third point, and that's what you call an impact substitution.
Summed it up like dream start for John O'Dwyer, and Eamon O'Shea looking like a very wise man having made that call. But obviously he's been showing well in training, and Tip do have players that they can make a difference up front, and I said he's certainly had a significant impact, and the confidence will be flowing through his veins after that third score in as many short space of time.
And that's 3 points without reply now for Tipperary, as the Munster champions try to lift the pace. Limerick's lead has been whittled back to the bare minimum. Chance here for Donal O'Grady. Let's fly. The umpires nod at each other. They liked it. Wonderful score from Donal O'Grady, the Limerick captain, leading by example, taking on the responsibility. That's his second of the day.
Yeah, great score, and that'll lift the crowd as well at a stage when Tip were starting to come back into it.
Brendan Cummins gets the game moving quickly, hurled away by Paddy O'Brien. Once more, Maher and Ryan are matching each other stride for stride. All eyes on the linesman on this near side. He felt it last touched the Limerick man, and possession back to Tipperary. Well, they've won 10 of their last 11 matches in the Munster Championship. Tipperary, 4 of the last 5 provincial titles. They are certainly championship specialists in this part of the world, but they'll be made to fight tooth and nail yet again for anything they're getting here.
Yeah, I think Brian Gavin has blown for a free there. Wayne Mack again had a bit of a swipe there at Noel McGrath as he went to pick up that ball, and he's blowing the free, and Callan is making his way out to have a pop at this one.
Well, perhaps a chance for us to go down to the sideline first. Here's our reporter, Kieran McSweeney.
And Mike, stand by for a huge cheer, because Tipperary are about to introduce a substitute here. Owen Kelly is about to make his entrance into this game. Eamon O'Shea turned around immediately after the last sub. John O'Dwyer had scored his third point and told Owen Kelly get warmed up, and he's about to be introduced. Limerick also introducing a substitution. Conor Alice coming on here for David Breen.
So both management teams getting ready to roll out the reinforcements as Callanan judges that perfectly. Well, we had a bird's eye view of that. It was inch perfect from Callanan, his 4th of the match. Tip draw back to within 1 score yet again, and that's the cue for John Allen to throw Conor Alice into the match. Player who started the Division 1B League final defeat to Dublin. David Breen is the player being replaced, and I suppose, James, it was only a matter of time before Alice and company started to come into the match.
Yeah, it'll be interesting now to see how John Allen deploys his resources, because, as I said, it is sweltering hot down there. Players putting in a huge effort, and we've seen the impact that John O'Dwyer has made, and I'm sure John Allen and Eamon O'Shea will be cognizant of the need to get the reserves in.
Conor Alice has gone straight into centre forward. This puck out is being knocked in his direction. Cut out though very impressively indeed, and cleared away down the field by Kieran Bergen. This is Callanan, confidence high after that last score. He felt that shot was on, he backed himself, hasn't managed to hit the target though on 1 or 2 of his teammates. Just asking why they didn't get the pass, but that is wide number 7 for Tip.
Yeah, Noel McGrath was in an ocean of space, and Callanan should have given it to him, didn't, and elected to go himself, and Noel McGrath pretty annoyed with him.
Mickey Quaid this time looking for Seamus Hickey. Another strong hand from Kieran Bergen. Lays it back to Mickey Cahill into the centre. First man to react is Donal O'Grady. Brian Gavin plays the advantage. James Ryan got in front of Maher, but a telling challenge from Paul Curran. And now Paddy Stapleton lays it off to Conor O'Mahony. Lovely ball to Noel McGrath. First time hurling by Tip. Released inside to John O'Brien. Uses experience to bring Pa Burke into the game, who didn't catch it cleanly though. Didn't strike that the way he wanted. Easy for Nicky Quaid. As you said earlier, Jamesy, very uncharacteristic mistakes by the Tip forwards.
Yeah, that's, 9 times out of 10 you'd expect Pa Burke to slot that one as the crowd roar for Owen Kelly's introduction, and as Pa Burke makes way for Owen Kelly. And Kelly's gone to the edge of the square, no great surprise there. John O'Brien one corner, Callan now in the other. Noel McGrath is centre forward, with Bonner on one wing and John O'Dwyer at the other. So plenty of rotation still in that Tipperary attack.
So Owen Kelly in to make his 58th championship appearance. two-time All-Ireland medal winner, and a big gun to have to roll in off the bench. With a little over 25 minutes still to play here at the Gaelic Grounds in Limerick, and still all to play for, with Limerick one ahead. Well taken by Stephen Walsh from Glenroe. Again, he was out in front. Poor distribution though, easy for Conor O'Mahony. Noel McGrath, who is working the wings, working his way up and down the field constantly. He was the intended target. Too much on it. And Tip back to square one.
Yeah, great catch by Stephen Walsh there. You know, he's had a good hour as well, or good 45 minutes. But we can see how hard the ground is, Mike. That ball normally would have held up, but just rolled on and on and out for a line ball. But one thing that's evident as well, I think Pádraig Maher and Conor Mahoney, I mean, those guys in the last 15-20 minutes last season in this game took over, and they're starting now to exert again aerial dominance, particularly on the Limerick tuck-out. And you know, that was the straw that broke Limerick's back last season, so interesting to see if they counteracted.
Well, that certainly was not in the plan for Gavin O'Mahony. Swung wildly at the sideline cut, missed it completely, and gives Wayne McNamara a bit of work to do, which he does very neatly and tidily. Limerick recover their composure. Pádraig O'Brien, first time ball, nobody at home though in that inside line, and Brendan Cummins has as much time as he needs to take it down at his leisure and pick out John O'Brien. Wonderful take, O'Brien. Now this would be some score. That is absolutely brilliant from John O'Brien. The puck down the field by Cummins, caught by O'Brien, and what a way to score your third point in this Munster semi-final. The sides are level here in Limerick.
Yeah, and that's an illustration of the difference between the two sides. I mean, you know, Pádraig O'Brien had a chance there to put the ball in front of one of the inside Limerick forwards. You know, went for a score from distance, didn't make it, into Brendan Cummins' hand, and he picked out John O'Brien with a great pass and super finish from O'Brien, his third score from play, and he's had a good afternoon for Tip.
The Tip have outscored Limerick 5 points to 2 since half-time. Sides are level now for the second time in this Munster semi-final as Tip start to build up a head of steam. Callanan well blocked down by Tom Condon, and he has the presence of mind to react quickest to the breaking ball. Win is free, and he pumps the air with his fist and looks towards the crowd.
Yeah, Limerick just needs something to happen. They need, you know, something inspirational. Tom Condon, you know, really good, honest, tough cornerback. As that he's trying to get the Limerick crowd again behind his side. So Tip certainly with the better of it so far, Mike, in the second half.
Well, it did take 3 matches, of course, to separate these teams back in 2007. And they went at it hammer and tongs week after week. And who knows, we may have to do this all over again. John Allen is getting ready to make a change. Shane Dowling has left the Limerick dugout. Tip have made a change. Number 24, Brian O'Mara, the man who scored the decisive goal against Limerick last summer, he's in. And it's Bonner O'Mara in as a blood sub, we're led to believe. Bonner O'Mara receiving some running repairs. Meanwhile, getting on with it is Mickey Cahill. The cornerback has put in some games so far. Waits for the arrival of Brendan Maher, shrugs aside the challenge of Paul Brown. Maher goes for his own score and makes it look really easy. He hit 4 brilliant points against Kilkenny in the league final. That's as good as we've seen today. It's his first, and Tip lead after 48 minutes.
Yeah, and starting to find their rhythm now, Tip. Again, great work from Mickey Cahill. He's been excellent so far this afternoon. You know, he's put the shackles on Graham Mulcahy for the most part, and you know, used the ball well, saw that Brendan Maher was outside him, and that's the Brendan Maher that we've seen today. It would have been very surprised if Bonner had been taken off. You know, so he seems to be some running repairs for blood injury. He's back on the field. He's in the army, and fitness shouldn't be an issue for Bonner, I'd imagine.
John Allen has made that change, by the way. Shane Dowling, who made his championship debut last summer against Tip, he's in, and Seamus Hickey has been withdrawn from the half-forward line. So John Allen completely reconfiguring his half-forward line as this second half goes on. Here is Bonner Maher, back in the match and ready to go. Spots the loose man, cutting through. It's O'Dwyer! John O'Dwyer is writing his own headlines here. That's 1 goal and 3 points for the half-time substitute. Nicky Quaid given no chance, and Tip look like they're back in business.
Yeah, I mean, brilliant pass by by Bonner, but he had work to do, and Nicky Quaid, who's been excellent in Limerick for Limerick this afternoon, had no chance. I mean, picks out the spot in the top corner, unstoppable finish, and you know, that's a pivotal score now in this game and a huge moment.
Well, it's his first day out in championship hurling. He's hit 1-3 since half-time as Shawnee Tobin at the other end nicks a score back for Limerick just to keep that scoreboard moving, just to stem the tide. 3 between them. But John O'Dwyer has taken this match, Jamesy, by the scruff of the neck.
Absolutely. I mean, 1-3, and you know, what is he on? Is he on 15-20 minutes? You know, super contribution. Important for Limerick though to get that score and you know, reply, and you know, the next score now again crucial. And I think it's a free to Limerick, and you know, a chance for Hannah now to reduce the deficit, you know, back to 2.
Well, after quite a pedestrian spell during the first half, this game has come to life since half-time. And Declan Hannon has this opportunity to leave just 2 between the teams again. There is a long, long way to go. 20 minutes to play. Hannon hitting it into that empty terrace behind Brendan Cummins' goal. Made sure of it. He's now hit 6 points in this Munster semi-final, still at centre forward, and Limerick haven't gone away. That's 2 in a row. Breaking ball gathered up by John O'Brien. Lovely ball to Noel McGrath. Tip looking for that goal that might finish it. Chance for Owen Kelly, and it's gone over the bar. Well, the umpires took a moment or two there just to gather their thoughts. Kelly with the snapshot. It flew like a bullet towards the Ennis goal. Umpire though happy enough that it was over, and Tip lead by 3 again. Yeah,
great ball initially with John O'Brien to find Noel McGrath, and probably could have finished it himself, but decided to put it into Kelly, and Kelly showed all his experience. The goal wasn't on, and great block again down there by Shane McGrath in the middle of the field, but Donald O'Grady going for it.
And dangerously dropping in. Cummins is watching it. Well, Cahy was in after it. It's gone for a 65. Well, that spectacular block from Shane McGrath was almost all in vain when Donald O'Grady's shot dropped in around the house. There's a strong sun shining into Brendan Cummins' eyes, and the ball very nearly got lost in it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that again, Mike, because I think Mulcahy might very well have got a touch on it, and I thought it, you know, gone into the side netting, but Cummins maybe got his hurley to it and may pull off a save here. But again, you know, if Hannon slots this, the deficit again is back to 2 points, and you know, Limerick, to their credit, have found a response. They're still in the game and still a long way to go.
Well, he was on the terrace as a 14-year-old back in 2007 when Limerick and Tip went toe-to-toe 3 times in the championship. Now he's out there in the middle of it, and he's just hit his 7th point. Limerick draw within 2 again, and we have 17.5 minutes of normal time to play. Breaking ball won by Hannon. Got through a lot of hard work out around the middle of the field, as has this man O'Grady, looking to release Mulcahy. He was having his jersey tugged by Mickey Cahill. That was spotted by the referee. Mulcahy's a very hard man to pin down. He was darting this way and that. Cahill caught in the act of holding him back. And this is another really good chance for Limerick.
Yeah, and that's often the way when you get away with defenders, you know, have a little tug. But Brian Gavin, alive to it, saw it, and you know, Declan Hannon again will relish this opportunity to reduce the deficit even further. So, you know, again, Limerick still in this game. You know, Dowling is in now. He's operating at full forward. Hannon is at centre forward, and still, as I said, with Mulcahy and Shawnee Tobin both, you know, a live threat inside. Limerick are still very much in this.
Hannon shoots, Hannon scores, and that now means Limerick have hit 4 of the last 5 points in this match. And with a little over a quarter of an hour to go now, the conditions will start to take their toll. It is an unforgiving afternoon here in Limerick. Huge puck out down the field by Brendan Cummins. Well read by Richie McCarthy. His avenue away from goal was cut off initially. Help comes from Nicky Quaid, which he gladly accepts, and Quaid clears it down towards Graham Mulcahy. Kieran Bergen. Does well, racing back onto it to get it under control. First time ball. Owen Kelly is moving in underneath it, so too McCarthy, and the Limerick full-back takes it down with a really strong hand. An inspirational take by McCarthy, the Blackrock man. He wins his free. Didn't he do well there?
He did, and he's as honest as they come. Big, strong man. Richie Bennett, remember a couple of years ago, was delighted that he was getting his chance, and he's been very, very solid for Limerick over the last couple of seasons.
Gavin O'Mahony dropping it down on top of his full forward line. In there chasing after it was Shane Dowling. Tip though managed to stand firm. Owen Kelly spotted that breaking ball quicker than everybody else, and he's hit by Tom Condon, who puts man and ball out over the line. Line ball to Limerick. And that's a little psychological victory for that Limerick full back line again. McCarthy, Condon and Walsh hurling everything and anything that's coming their way.
Yeah, they've been under good bit of pressure. As I said, Limerick struggling in the half forward a little bit to win their own ball. Pádraig Maher and Conor Mahoney both been good in the second half. Shane McGrath and Brendan Maher again are probably at the better of the exchanges at midfield in the second half. So the Limerick full back line doing well under considerable pressure.
And Gavin O'Mahony is not having the best of days on that far side with those sideline cuts. This one goes out over the line. And possession back to Tipperary.
And Noel McGrath is a sweet striker of the ball, and this would be in around the edge of the square, you'd imagine.
McGrath, quick look up. Didn't catch it cleanly though. Galloping down the field with it goes Wayne McNamara. He's got Bonner Maher herring after it. Maher sticking to his task. McNamara likewise. Brian Gavin just letting it develop. And in the end it's dug out by Kieran Bergen. The wing back from Killinall does well, rides his luck a little. Shot blocked by Shane Dowling, and now Limerick perhaps can get something out of nothing. Dowling is held up, he got the shot in. Brian Gavin raises his arm, he's played the advantage, the score will stand. Dowling's first, he's coming in off the bench, level for the third time. While Brian Gavin waited and waited, let that develop. Dowling played the whistle, and it all paid off.
He did, and he blocked the ball down initially himself, Mike, and worked very, very hard for it. I thought he was after putting it wide and missing it, but credit to him, great score for Limerick, and the sides are level.
And Shane Dowling, who hit 8 points against Tip here last summer in the Munster Championship, is off the mark. 13 minutes to go, it's anybody's game. Hannon is chasing after it, so too is Paul Curran. Curran, the fullback from Mullinahone, has injured himself in the process of challenging for that ball. We're going to have a stoppage and a chance for the water carriers to get some refreshments on, for the players to rehydrate and to prepare for the last 10-12 minutes. There is an almighty 10-12 minutes to come, James.
There are, and John Allen still has Kevin Downs on the bench. He still has Niall Moore, and you'd wonder whether he'll consider throwing those guys in. I suppose Tip have failed to maybe get John Dwyer, the man on the moment on the ball in the last 10 minutes or so as well. But with 13 minutes to left, both sides level, everything to play for, we couldn't have asked for any more.
Well, Limerick have really dug in here. They've outscored Tip 5 points to 1 since John O'Dwyer's goal, and that's another big hit and a big call. Limerick get the decision. Well, they have ratcheted up the intensity levels quite a bit since half-time. And now Declan Hannon is coming across to have a look at this.
Yeah, and I actually thought Shane McGrath kept that ball in. It was a bone-crunching hit from Hannon. Tried to put him out over man and ball over the line, but I thought McGrath did it, made every effort to keep the ball in play, and he questioned the linesman's decision.
But perhaps justice done then. Hannon's sideline cut, finding only a Tip man, Pádraig Maher. His ball down the field, though, gathered by Wayne McNamara. And nobody able to keep that in play. But certainly whoever does earn their place in next month's Munster final against Cork or Clare, they will have earned it. We were hoping it would be close and tight and tense. And that's exactly the way it's panning out in this second half. of Sarsfields gets plenty on that, but Gavin O'Mahony, the gatekeeper at the heart of the Limerick defence, off to McNamara, down towards Tobin, but well taken back there by the cornerback Paddy Stapleton. Gets it away to O'Mahony, keeps it short, and this is Noel McGrath. McGrath spinning away from the tackle, down towards the substitute, that's Brian O'Mara. But there was some holding going on, spotted by Brian Gavin, and Limerick get the benefit of the doubt and get the free.
Yeah, Owen Kelly, I think, had a little bit of a swipe there, but you know, Tom Connon was that half step ahead of him to the ball, and just a flesh wound, I suppose. Nothing broken or anything, but he'll feel it stinging for a minute or so. But again, Tom Conlon has been excellent for Limerick, you know, wholehearted player, gives it everything. Not the type of cornerback you know you want to spend 70 minutes of a championship match on, and he's been rock solid.
Nicky Quaid pumping it down on top of the full forward line, scrapping in there for it is Dowling. Got a shot in, breaks to Mulcahy, Common saves, back to James Ryan, danger not cleared, blocked again by Pádraig Maher. Limerick denied not once but twice. James Ryan blocked this time by Pádraig Maher. Well, it is end-to-end nail-biting stuff. Whistle sounds and it's a free. But that was a couple of great chances for Limerick. Initially Mulcahy and then James Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't put on it, Mike. You know, great save by Cummins from Shawnee Tobin. You know, but James Ryan here just elected to rise it, and you know, Cummins and the cover back. I mean, again, you have to credit the goalie as well. He's always stands up tall, close the space down, and block the ball with his body. You know, chance obviously Limerick may rue. I mean, at this stage of the game would have been crucial, but Hannon can put them ahead. He's missed it.
It's all happening here as Declan Hannon hooks that free wide. Well, he'd had such a good day up to now from the frees. That's just Limerick's fourth wide. John Allen, meanwhile, has introduced Niall Moran from Mahon in place of the first half goal scorer, Shawnee Tobin. Pádraig Maher has picked up a yellow card, and away we go again. Less than 9 minutes to go now. Next score will be crucial. Mickey Cahill, pound for pound, one of the best cornerbacks in the business, takes it away from Mulcahy, manages to flick it inside towards Brendan Maher. McNamara, though, standing in his path. Players piling in from both sides to try and get it under control. Brian Gavin spotted Brendan Maher holding Shane Dowling, and it's a free to Limerick and a chance for them to go on the front foot once more.
Yeah, and I think if Tip do go on and win the game, Mike, we certainly look on that passage of play as a real turning point. You know, the save by Brendan Cummins, the second subsequent block from James Ryan when he possibly should have put in the first time, and then Hannon hooking the resultant free wide from a position in the field where at this level you just routinely mark the score down. So huge point in the game. Shane Dowling now from well inside his own half of the field. He's going for this one, Mike. Good striker of the ball. Could put Limerick ahead.
It's a huge free for Limerick. It's a huge free for Dowling. He's given it everything, and it's gone over the bar. And the Limerick crowd are on their feet. That was a huge score from Dowling in every sense of the word.
Yeah, that was inspiration, Mike. I mean, he was well inside his own 65, halfway between the 65 and the 45, and massive scores, particularly in the context of Hannon missing that last one as well. And huge lift for Limerick.
So Limerick are a point in front. Mulcahy manages to slip it through. This is Niall Moran. In off the bench, over the bar. Limerick have made their kick for home. They lead by 2. Swinging into the last 7 minutes. And it's Moran, the man with so much experience, who popped up and did the right thing.
Yeah, again, hugely experienced, and Nicky Espen spoke about it before the game. The Limerick bench that Conor Ellis, Niall Moran, Shane Dowling, these guys didn't start. They weren't starting the game, but they certainly would probably finish it. And he still has Kevin Downsell throwing as well if he wants. But the Limerick bench making a big impact.
That's 5 points in a row now for Limerick in this second half. They've scored 7 of the last 8, and since that John O'Dwyer goal, Tip have lost their way completely. They haven't scored for almost 12 minutes. Interestingly, Eamon O'Shea has just pitched in Conor O'Brien for these last 5 minutes, as Brendan Maher is down and in need of attention. Paul Brown has been booked, but it's literally happening all over the field, Jamesy.
Oh, yeah.
And
Set up
with
for
5 minutes to go, it's all set up.
Yeah, set up for a frantic finish. Mike Shane McGrath withdrawn. He's put Conor O'Brien on wing back, and he's shoved Kieran Bergen up the midfield to partner Brendan Maher, who is currently receiving attention. He took a knock. The Limerick defence decided to take him down. Probably the sensible move. He had another Tipperary player outside him. But yeah, I mean, it's still only assuming that, you know, Owen Kelly will convert this free. I mean, there's a minimum between the sides. You know, what, it'll be 6 minutes left. There'll be a minute or two for stoppages. And again, this game could go either way, Mike.
But here we can see how Brendan Maher picked up that injury, trying to hurdle the challenge. It looked nasty enough. He is not yet out of the woods, and they will not want to lose their inspirational midfielder with a huge 5 minutes ahead, as Limerick are preparing to bring in Cathal King from the local Napier club here in Limerick City, as they try and see this out. As let's go down to the sideline. Kieran McSweeney has some news for us.
Well, Mike, just as Tipperary are really struggling, they're sending for Lar Corbett. He's ready to go here on the sideline. Hasn't played, of course, since being sent off in the league final. Had that injury as well. Didn't look like he was going to be available for selection today. Lar Corbett is ready to go for Tipperary. I suppose desperate times call for desperate measures, and Larry's ready to go.
So Lar Corbett, it seems, will be joining us any moment now. He was a late addition to the Tip bench before the start of this match after Jason Ford had to cry off with an illness. Did damage his ribs in the league final against Kilkenny, but he is badly needed at this stage. Limerick have made that change, by the way. Paul Brown, the player who's been replaced by Cathal King. So Limerick in the lead by the minimum. Wayne McNamara knocking it down towards his captain O'Grady. Won by Maher. Just one man inside to aim at. That's Kelly, who despite his best efforts isn't going to get there. He's shepherded away from the ball by Tom Condon. 8 wides for Tip, and just 1 point in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, this is maybe where experience comes to the fore as well. I mean, you know, this Tip team has been in All-Ireland finals. I mean, there's no need to panic. There's still plenty of time. There's only a point between the sides. But a big blow, see Brendan Maher hobbling off after that knock he took, you know, in no position to continue. And Lar wearing number 10, which was Jason Ford's number until he had to withdraw last night. He'll take the field, so it was Eamon O'Shea last throw the dice, but it's a nice ace to have to play.
And here he comes. Brendan Maher has tried to battle on, but that injury has taken its toll, and Lar Corbett is heading in to the Tip full forward line. Man who scored more championship goals for Tipperary than any other player, and they need one now. Mickey Cahill driving it in towards Corbett. Watching it all the way is Gavin O'Mahony. Great strong hand from the wing back from Kilmallock. Makes a few strides and then clears his lines down towards Hannon. But possession back to Tipperary. The tension is palpable. 2.5 minutes of normal time left. Eamon O'Shea knows this Munster semi-final is on the line now. The defending champions going for 3 in a row, chasing hard. Just one between the teams.
Yeah, and possession vital now. I mean, mistakes, you know, could be crucial as well. But I said Limerick, you know, they're weathering the storm. Their Limerick defence, for backline in particular, has been excellent in the second half, and but they're still competing ferociously for everything.
And the smallest mistake here could make a huge difference, as John O'Brien knocks this in over towards Bonner Marr. Tom Condon comes right through him to win that ball. Hard and fair. Breaks towards Conor O'Brien. Takes one look at the goals, shoots on sight, and that's gone across the face of the goals and wide. Limerick are springing in Kevin Downs for the last few minutes. James Ryan is the player who's been replaced. Well, John Allen has got very little left in his dugout now, James. He's thrown in all of his options, and it's now or never for Limerick.
Absolutely, and why wouldn't he with the you know, the players that he kept in reserve? And you know, some people said he might necessarily have started with his best 15 on the field, but you know, he's arguably going to finish it with those players. And you know, James Ryan worked himself to a standstill, and you know, Downs, a good, strong, physical player, good in the air, and sensible move has had to get him into the fray.
Well, in a scoring sense, the third quarter has belonged to Limerick. 7 points they've clocked up. They've put themselves in a match-winning position. This game is theirs to lose now, as that ball last touched Lar Corbett, says the linesman. It was Richie McCarthy who was applying serious heat to the former hurler of the year. line ball to Limerick.
Yeah, and Richie McCarthy's been outstanding for Limerick, with him every step of the way, and you know, Larry, with his pace, was under pressure, and it's a Limerick line ball.
Well, over the last 16 seasons, Limerick have lost 13 times on their first day out in the Munster Championship. The players and the management, though, very bullish ahead of this game. They felt they were in a good place to take Tipperary on and to turn them over. As we tick towards injury time at the end of this Munster semi-final. Tip throwing everything forward now, flicked on by Bonner Marr, Richie McCarthy. Once more, first man to react, outside to O'Grady. Donal O'Grady, the captain, lets fly. The umpires watch it all the way. It's gone over the bar, and it just might be the insurance score. What a score for Donal O'Grady, the team captain. 3 from play. Limerick are almost there.
Yeah, and the roof nearly came off the stand with that one. And Wayne McNamara, inspirational catch again.
Ball driven inside by Conor Alice, looking for his fellow substitute Niall Moran. Down the field by Brendan Cummins. We're into stoppage time. We'll have at least 2 minutes, says the fourth official. Bonner Marr outside to John O'Brien. He's got a lot of experience. He tries to hit the target. It's gone wide. And for Limerick, perhaps as good as a score.
Yeah, and I think that's tipped into double digits in the wides count as well. I think that's their 10th, and you know, they're going to rule those misses. 2 points in it. You feel the Tipper need a goal at this stage. Minute left to obtain it.
Well, we said earlier there was a carnival atmosphere along the Ennis Road before this match. If Limerick hang on here, it is going to be a long night by the Shannon. Declan Hannon going for it, backing himself. They can do no wrong. Hannon has nailed it. 8 points for the young full forward from Adair. He never had any doubt, and the roar of the crowd told you all you needed to know. The Munster champions have fallen 3 points behind, and Limerick are on the brink of a first Munster final since 2007. Mulcahy scrapping for the crumbs from the table, got his body in there, wins the line ball, and Tip really have lost their way in this last quarter.
They have, but credit to Limerick, and I think the Limerick defence in particular. I mean, they had their rocky moments. You know, John O'Dwyer coming on and hitting 1-3, but they've weathered the storm, and you know, Richie McCarthy, Tom Condon in particular, outstanding. And Brian Gavin blows a whistle, and the Limerick crowd are going to invade this pitch, and why wouldn't they, with the, you know, the performance their team gave.
Oh, what a day for Limerick. They have waited years and years for a day like this. They've upset the odds. They win a Munster Championship game for the first time in 6 years. They'll be getting ready now for their first Munster final in 6 years. And they've ended Tip's streams of 3 in a row in the process. On a sweltering day at the Gaelic Grounds in Limerick.
And it's exactly what the hurling championship needs, Mike, because this again is tipped through the back door.
Well, it's finished here. Limerick 118, Tipperary 115. Rejoin us in less than a minute, live here on 3.